Imagine arriving here after 42 kilometers under the Greek sun. It's hot, you're sweaty, but you've done it. You've finished the marathon. Only to realize that you still have 240k to go. Direction Sparta. Because this is exactly what Philippides realized. He had a message to deliver, yes, but not about victory, about asking for help, and not from Athens, from Sparta. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start at the beginning. So 42 or 250 kilometers? How many one needs to run to have done a marathon? Good question. But before we delve into that, let's look at the history of the battle and how come that we run such a long distance. It's the year 490 BCE, and Attica is about to undergo one of the most crucial crises in its history. Gone were the days of peaceful philosophical discussions. The Persian Empire of Darius I, Darius the Great, was at Greece's doorstep, determined to be let in. The Persians would eventually leave their mark on Greece, and Leonidas would give Sparta its moment of glory. But for now, it was the Athenians' turn to shine. But what exactly did the Persians want? They want Greece. They want the city protected by the goddess Athena. And they've got a good enough army, a big enough army, that they think it's going to be easy. Unfortunately for them, the Athenians will demonstrate that it will be anything but easy. And so it is that in the late summer, a messenger comes to the city of Athens, panicked. He's seen Persian ships on the horizon. He's seen Persian infantry to the north of the city approaching the Marathon plains.
The Persians are coming!
And Athens is not ready to meet them. The city of Athens hastily chooses 10 strategoi, 10 generals, one for each tribe. Among them, Callimachus is voted polemarch, war ruler, and given supreme command. And yet, it's not him we remember, but the bolder and more strategically innovative Miltiades. The generals sent a call for the citizens to arm themselves up and serve as hoplites. All in all, they managed to total 10,000 people, 10,000 soldiers, not professional soldiers, this is not Sparta, but soldiers nonetheless. Pity that the infantry, the Persian infantry alone, totals 20,000. Numbers in ancient sources are a topic of fierce debate in the history departments. So when Hesiod tells us that the hoplites were 10,000 but the Persians were 20 to 25,000, please take these numbers not just with a pinch of salt but with an entire box. Even without the final certainty, we can be sure that the Athenians were vastly outnumbered. And that became immediately clear when Miltiades marched his 10,000 hoplites here to the plains of Marathon, where I am at the moment, to intercept the Persian infantry. Like the good general that he was, Miltiades, here represented in the statue behind me, immediately recognized that he needed more allies, or the battle would be lost, and with it, the city of Athens and the entire Attica region. Who to ask, though? Who would come and help the Athenians and guarantee them a victory against the overwhelming might of the Persians? There was one city in the entirety of Greece whose entire business was war.
Sparta!
And it's here that the story gets really interesting, because Miltiades at this point knows that he needs to send out a messenger to reach the Spartans and ask for their help, and so he selects the best he has. And here he is, the man of the hour, the one we've all been waiting for Philippides. Possibly not his best look, this one though. The story I'm about to tell you is the one that 5th century BCE historian Herodotus gave us. This might not be the story that you've all heard, but I'm here now in the hot sun of Greece trying to debunk that myth, and the true story is far more interesting.
Philippides, I choose you.
So Philippides gets chosen. He's the best runner that Miltiades has in his army and gets told to actually go run and bring a message to the Spartans. So Philippides actually prepares himself, takes off all of his armor because he's a runner, not a soldier, and he needs to be light on his feet, and off he goes. The story we all know is this romantic piece in which at the end of a gruesome 5 days battle, still bloody from the skirmish, still with his armor on, Philippides runs the 42 kilometers separating marathon from Athens just to bring the message of victory to the Athenians, and then collapses on the spot, dying after doing his duty. The reality is a lot more different than this. According to Herodotus, Philippides covered this immense distance in just about 30 hours, which puts him right at the level of an elite runner today, doing the Spartathlon with technical gear and no need to bring their own food and water. Once there, Philippides immediately relays the message. It is urgent after all. He begs the Spartans for help. If Athens falls, if Attica falls, the Persians will come towards Sparta. The Spartans immediately say yes, they will come to help the Athenians, but there's a problem. Sparta, in that moment, is in the middle of a sacred ritual, one that cannot be interrupted and during which the Spartans cannot prepare for war or risk the wrath of the gods. So yes, the Spartans will come, but no sooner than 7 to 10 days. It's not the message that Philippides or Miltiades might have wanted, but this is the best that Philippides will get. And so after having drunk some water, eaten some bread, Philippides turns back and goes back to Marathon. He would have probably rested a couple of hours, maybe something more, but needs must. And Athens' very existence hinged on his capacity to bring back the message. We don't really know Miltiades' reaction to the news, but we can surmise that he probably wouldn't be that happy. To stall the Persians for 7-10 days seemed like a grueling task. It had taken them 5 days, but in the end 20,000 infantry Persian soldiers had finally arrived. The only saving grace for Miltiades and his men was that the Persians had only taken the infantry with them and not the cavalry. Had they taken their famed horses, Miltiades would have lost the battle before even beginning it. Miltiades knew that his time had run out. The Spartans were not going to come. The Athenians were on their own. Philippides had done a good job, but it hadn't been enough. This time, it was going to be Persians versus Athenians, and Miltiades could only pray to the gods that it would all be favorable to them. And speaking of gods, Philippides had accidentally recruited one to the cause. No, not Athena, although I assume she was on the Athenian side, but the half-human, half-goat god of vegetation, Pan. Ultra-runners call them hallucinations. Philippides at that time called it a divine wake-up call. Pan manifested himself in front of Philippides and asked him why the Athenians had forgotten about him. Philippides was but a simple soldier, so he had no answer to give to Pan. It didn't really matter. The satyr wasn't looking for an answer. He simply told Philippides that if the Athenians were to build him a sanctuary, then Pan would be more than happy to help them in the upcoming Battle of Marathon. Now, I don't know about you, but if it had been me at that point, I would have said yes to anything, which is exactly what Philippides did.
Pan, shockingly I know, kept his word, coming to Marathon to disseminate panic through the Persians' ranks.
Well, also the Athenians were true to their words, to Philippides' words, and they built Pan a brand new sanctuary in the cave that you see behind me on the north slope of the Acropolis.
Let's go back to the Persian invasion now.
Neither Miltiades nor the other generals had gotten their post by relying on the gods, so they did have a strategy. A classic, the pincer attack. Long story short, Miltiades' strategy of a pincer attack actually worked. In the end, only 192 Athenians died alongside 11 of their Plataean allies, while the Persians suffered catastrophic losses, numbering in the thousands. After the battle, the dead were honored with tombs on the plain of Marathon. You can see it from the streets like I am. Otherwise, go inside the Archaeological Museum, open every day except Tuesdays.
To go on purpose to see the sight never brought good to any man, but with him who unwittingly lights upon it by accident, the spirits are not angry.
According to Pausanias, our ancient vlogger, nothing good will ever come to those who purposely seek to disturb the rest of the spirits lay here in Marathon. But I figure I'm far away enough that they won't be disturbed by my explaining and prattling on, so I should be safe.
Enough about ghosts. Back to the story. After 5 days, the intervention of Pan, the ghost of Theseus, and, much more credibly, a good strategy, the battle was won. So now this should happen, right? A wounded Philippides delivering the good news,
We were victorious.
only to die afterwards. Right?
But I'm not gonna tell you this. No. Because in reality, what Hesiod says is that Philippides' role was that of a messenger, yes, but to Sparta, and that was it. Miltiades sent no messenger to Athens. He did something else. He told his men, still bloody from the battle, to pack up, put every piece of gear on their shoulder, and start running in the direction of Athens.
So no single runner on a solitary mission then, but on the contrary, 10,000 fully geared hoplites sprinting through the plains, desperate to get to Athens. No blue line guiding them, but the determination to make it in time. When the Acropolis finally crested the horizon, the soldiers knew they had made it.
Miltiades had done the right thing. By bringing the entire army back to Athens, he had signaled the Persians that they could not win this battle. He was rewarded with seeing the Persian ship turn tail and go back from where they had come from. So, what happened?
Why do we know about the runner Philippides, or we think he was sent to Athens? Why nobody ever mentions 10,000 soldiers running?
In a poem by Robert Browning, the man decided to apply some Victorian sensibilities and romanticism to the tale and conflate the two things. One runner after a battle, desperately trying to reach the city to bring the message. That was the Victorian romantic sensibility that Robert Browning was going for. And that's why I say that we all ran the wrong marathon.
So I ask again, 42 or 250? Choose your own. As for me, well, neither. I much prefer a completely different sport.
Maybe Philippides didn't die for honor and duty, but I think I much prefer it like this. It's about time I go back to my archive, but I keep thinking I'm forgetting something. The Spartans? Well, they did come as promised. They prepared themselves as fast as they could, and they marched as fast as they could from Sparta to Athens as soon as they were ready, and they made it to Marathon in record time, just the 7 days. It was still too late though, and the only thing they could do was to praise the Athenians for their bravery and victory and help them bury the dead.